Hi guys! So welcome to my super beginner basics to meditation. Some of the things that I'm going to be talking about today have been inspired by some of my students who have expressed that before they came along to my meditation group, they were really intimidated by meditation. And that is something that I just did not expect. But the crazy thing is, some of the things that they were intimidated by are really easy and simple to, well, not even fix, just tell you about. So hopefully today, throughout this mini-series, you will learn not to be intimidated by meditation and maybe even, fingers crossed, all fingers, love it, because it's so wonderful when you're in the zone. Even if you're only in the zone for a minute, it's just the best. So anyway, here are some of my top tips. First of all, the position that you sit in does not matter. If you can't sit in the lotus position, which some of you may know, which is where you cross your legs and then you grab the other one and you fling it on top. If you can't sit like that, it doesn't matter. This is not the only pose you can meditate in. In fact, I'm going to show you all the poses you can meditate in. You can sit like this with your feet on the floor. You can meditate lounging around. You can sit cross-legged like we used to when we were at school. You can even meditate in the yoga pose, which I think is called child's pose, where you basically just relax. You can completely lie down. It does not matter as long as you are super comfy. And in fact, I think there should be a movement where people meditate lying down, because it's the easiest and quickest way to go to sleep. If you sit cross-legged like this, I would maybe suggest you grab a pillow of some kind and then you put it underneath your bottom so that your hips are either in line or slightly higher than your knees, just because I find that I'm more comfortable for a longer period of time when my hips are above my knees. You can even meditate in a headstand or a handstand or pretty much any position, but the magic of TV is not going to be able to show you me in a headstand or a handstand, because I can't and never have been able to do those things. So we all have our limitations. But the point is, you can meditate in any position that is comfortable to you. Tip number 2. It is a perfectly legitimate form of meditation to just focus on your breath. I particularly like, and I will link that video below because it's just a lovely one, breathing in for a count of 3 and out for a count of 6, unless you have asthma and you might want to breathe in for a count of 2 and then out for 4. And the most important thing there is that your out breath is twice as long as your in breath, because it manipulates your natural physiology into the relaxation response. Tip number 3. Do not judge your thoughts. You will have thoughts, they will pop up. You'll be sat there thinking, Zen, 1, 2, 3, what am I having for dinner? And then you'll be thinking, and breathe out, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have put the laundry on. These things will pop up, as will also really deep emotional things. That is perfectly okay. Allow them to pop up and just don't judge them. And then when you don't pay attention to your thoughts, you don't identify with them, you just witness them, they will melt away. I promise you, they will melt away. You do not need a notepad next to you where you open your eyes, you stop meditating and you write it all down. You don't need it. It's your mind's way of trying to pull you out of that beautiful moment of peacefulness. And sometimes it actually feels like you're kind of fighting with your mind to let it go quiet, to let it calm down, to let it believe that actually everything will be okay if you do nothing for 2 minutes. Like, the world will not fall apart, I promise you. So tip number 3 is just witness your thoughts. Don't judge them and just let them float on by, and know that they are a natural part of learning to meditate, and not even learning to meditate, like being in a meditation. Tip number 4, very similar to tip number 3. This is don't beat yourself up. So if, for example, you have like reality altering, mind blowing meditation experience where you genuinely think you've reached enlightenment, I don't know. And then the next time you sit down, it's really hard. That's okay. In fact, that's not even just okay, it's normal. Like no meditation session is ever going to be the same. And that's because we are a constant like work in progress. And taking time out for our mind is a little bit like, you know, turning your phone off if you ever do it. It's a little bit like a mini defrag. So don't beat yourself up when it's not as wow as it was yesterday or the last time you did it. Just be there, be present, focus on your breath and put in the time. That is it. Be nice to yourself. Tip number 5. Don't worry if you have to cough or blow your nose or fidget a little bit because it's all a process of learning. So one of my favorite meditations is to actually sit perfectly still. Like don't move a tiny muscle. And if you get a tiny little itch somewhere, just like try to focus on something else, but only because it's hard, right? It's not easy to ignore an itch when you want to scratch it. So don't worry if you have to fidget a little bit, or you have to blow your nose, or you have to cough, or you have to wriggle a little bit, or maybe somebody knocks on your door at that point. Don't worry about it. That's cool. Just sit back down and do it again. Tip number 6. You might prefer guided meditations to begin with in your meditation journey, and that is also perfectly okay. Now, one of my favorite things to do when I meditate is to just get into that zone and either be present there or see where I go on my own little journey. It's almost like daydreaming, but not quite. But if you find that hard, don't do it. Just find a guided meditation, and I will link a whole load of mine below. But there's loads and loads of guided meditations that you will find, probably like 5 or 10 of them that you absolutely love, and you can't wait to go back there. It's like having your own little inner world. It's beautiful. So enjoy the guided meditations. Often we talk about guided meditations as if it's a part of like beginner learning to meditate. And I suppose it is because it's easier because you're being taken on a journey rather than forcing yourself to be present in that moment. I know plenty of people who have meditated for years and still use guided meditations all the time because they love them. And meditation should be something you enjoy, not just something you endure. So find some that you love and do them whenever you get that desire. Tip number 7. Any length of time in meditation is great. Whether you're there for 20 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 2 minutes is my fave, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, it doesn't matter how long. And like I said, my favorite is 2 minutes. And that's often because inside the back of my mind, I can trust that for 2 minutes, I can do nothing. Which is weird because, you know, I should be able to do 3 minutes or 5 minutes. But quite often I have to commit to 2. And the joke is, after I've done those 2 minutes, I then normally want to do another 5 or 10 or 20. But the first 2 minutes is the only amount that I'm willing to commit to. So if you want to commit to 1 minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 20 minutes, just go with whatever feels right. Because it's not about how long you sit there. It's actually more about being willing to be present for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 2 minutes, like whatever it is, just be there. So I hope you've enjoyed these super beginner top tips to meditating. And in case you wanted to listen to or watch any of my other meditations, just so you know, I just sit in meditation in them. I do not give you lots of beautiful pictures to keep your eyes open and watch. And the idea of that is that you trust that you can close your eyes and just meditate with me. But I'm going to link all of those down below. Contact me if you're interested in coming to a live meditation and you happen to live somewhere near Berkshire in the UK. But if you're miles away from Berkshire in the UK, I do also have my Goddesses in Training meditation online monthly group, which you can join at any time for a reduced price. I'll link all the details below, and have fun meditating. Bye.